Hello, everyone. We are the Farm Credit Services of America Senior Design Team, and as Dr. Bone said, our project is called Fieldfolio. So just a quick overview of the company that we were working for. So Farm Credit Services of America is a customer-owned co-op dedicated to providing credit and insurance services to farmers, ranchers, and agricultural businesses throughout Iowa, Nebraska, South Dakota, and Wyoming. And that's a picture of their wonderful building. Got to visit a couple times. It's pretty cool. Alrighty, and so there is a big problem that they were noticing, that there are so many important factors to consider when looking at purchasing farmland, such as soil information, the history of crops planted on the land, and the owners of neighboring property. But a lot of times this information is in separate sources and in separate formats. So it's hard to put all together and get a clear, holistic picture of the land that you're considering purchasing. So their goal was to provide a resource that consolidates all of this integral property information in one easily accessible location. So a quick look at, too quick. Okay, look at our stakeholders as far as sponsors go. On the far left, we have Patrick Wolf, who's the VP of Data Integration at Farm Credit, and for us, he was kind of our project leader. Then we have Grant Siddharth, who is our product manager, and he was in charge of kind of helping us figure out what to make and what the users would want. Then we have Shane Busher, who is a GIS developer at Farm Credit, and he was important for helping us figure out how to use the mapping technologies, because none of us had had any prior experience with that. And then we had Sudhir Neela, who's just a developer at Farm Credit, and he was probably our main point of contact whenever we had problems with figuring out Angular, because again, none of us had had prior experience in that. They were super fabulous. Then we have our faculty from UNL. So we have Melanie Kugler-Wright, who is our project manager, and she kind of guided us through best industry practices. We had our wonderful tribe lead, Trudy Bullman, who helped us through the UNL senior design processes, and then our industry coach, Brian Billings, who he helped us figure out professionalism during our meetings, and he gave us some wonderful advice. And then we'll have the team introduce themselves. I'm Kyla, I'm the product manager, and I'm also a junior in computer science. Alrighty. So yeah, as we said earlier, the problem here was the disparate sources and formats of agricultural property information. So the solution was adding a map component to an existing page on Farm Credit's site where other important property information was located. So this map component for each property would have an aerial view of the property as well as an outline of the boundaries, have a plat map which would show neighboring properties and information about those, have a soil data layer where you could see soil information, as well as a crop history map that would show information on historical crop data. And now I'll pass it off to Elijah.
Thank you, Kyla. Okay, so getting into our solution, basically what we've done is we've added a map, so like a component inside their property detail page that just gives an aerial view of the property. It's able to, able to highlight the boundaries of the property as well. I'll talk more about that in a second. But yeah, implemented using ArcGIS, which is a JavaScript platform that we're able to use just through like API calls. So yeah, just present a map, give an aerial view basically. So yeah, getting into that, we have several kind of views of this map in particular. So the first and kind of the default, as I mentioned, is this aerial map right here. So yeah, pretty straightforward. Just we'll zoom to where the property's at and kind of draw a boundary around the property itself. And you're able to go into full screen there as the photo has up there, and you can kind of look around. You can kind of scroll, zoom in, zoom out, view the land around the area. It's not necessarily fixed either. But yeah, that's our first view. The second view is the plat layer view. So this, just like the aerial view, shows you the property boundary, zooms into the property, but also shows you the neighboring boundaries as well, including information such as like the acreage of each property and the owners as well. Next, we have the soil layer, which is just a data layer showing all the different types of soil separated with contour lines. And if you click on a specific area, it'll give you more soil information. So things like the soil code, a soil description, and other ratings, which can be useful. And then last, we have crop history, which turns Field Folio into an 8-bit gaming experience. It gives you just another imagery layer, so it just shows the history of what crops have been grown, which is relevant for things like crop rotation. And so yeah, you can look back 3 years into the past. And so yeah, this may be helpful if you're trying to evaluate what you might want to grow on the property. Here's a mobile view as well. So we've integrated this to work with mobile as well, with the aerial and plat view in particular. So just like it looks on desktop, it just zooms into the map. This displays kind of an aerial view there, and you can still click into full screen on mobile. So in terms of value and just a couple highlights. So yeah, we've kind of provided a foundational implementation of this map. So it's something that Farm Credit can build upon in the future. We've kind of laid the groundwork for it. So if they would like to add more features in the future, it would be pretty easy to do so. And along the way, we've helped them identify like their requirements, and so help them figure out what it is exactly they wanted, and help them define their vision, if you will. Additionally, another highlight, we've kind of matched their styling company-wide, so it looks and feels like any other Farm Credit application. And yeah, we've developed it in their ecosystem as well, so it's super easy for us to hand off this project to them. It's already in their repositories, and so they all have access to it already, and we've developed it in a virtual machine for their environment. So like as we've been working with, you saw Sadir earlier, one of our stakeholders, like he's easily able to pull up our code and help us along the way, and any other developer will be able to do that. So it'll be really easy for them to merge this into their production release whenever they're ready to do so. In terms of other learning opportunities, so we've all got to learn how to use ArcGIS, learn a little bit about GIS technologies, but also how to work with APIs in particular, and so how to pull this data in and display it in a way that looks good, and also good for developers in the back end too. How do we write code that's useful for other developers and makes sense if other people want to make changes? Yeah, Angular and TypeScript, so that's kind of what this Farmland app is built on, so just learning how to integrate into an ecosystem that's already built, build code and other components the way other components are built. And yeah, so yeah, onboarding to an existing code base. So thank you for listening. I'd like to invite our sponsors from Farm Credit up, if you wouldn't mind. While they're coming up, I just want to thank this team. It's been a real pleasure to work with them throughout the year. Thank everybody here for listening to us. Thank the senior design group for this project. And yeah, thank you.